Women's Voice, you've got a very big project in front of you.
Yes, we have. There's women from all around the world are in the last stages of preparing to go to New York for the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in March. And so we've been gathering our arguments and preparing our debates for that. Many have already made written statements, and Associated Country Women of the World, which I'm part of, have joined with 20 other organisations and made a combined statement. And this particular statement is really quite powerful because of the number of women we're representing. If you take ACWW itself, we represent 9 million women, but with the other 20 organisations, we're representing close to 15 million women taking a voice to the UN and saying what women want. Now, in terms of which women in New Zealand, through ACWW, of course, Rural Women New Zealand is a member, and all the women's institutes, and by extension, the rural women partnerships with groups such as the Dairy Women's Network and Farming Mums. So there's all those women, but also other signatories to this statement are groups like Zonta, Inner Wheel, Business and Professional Women. So there's a huge number of organisations, even within New Zealand, and National Council of Women as well, who are party to this statement. The statement has about 12 recommendations of what women want and believe needs to happen to support women's empowerment and the gender equity gaps.
I want to stress the fact that this isn't a women's liberation type thing.
Oh, absolutely not. No, this is about women's rights, which are, of course, human rights. And it's simple things like access to education, economic empowerment, and dealing with a lot of those issues.
How widespread is the need around the world? I mean, we like to consider ourselves to be pretty well educated and a leader in the world, but have we got any problems?
Well, certainly in New Zealand we do have some problems, certainly around access to services, particularly for rural women. We also have issues on economic empowerment, things such as the gender pay gap, the number of women represented in leadership, and even simple things which are a little bit below the radar that people may not realise. It's discrimination in access to finance. We hear stories of women who have different insurance premiums to men because they're women or they're solo women, different interest rates at banks because they're solo women. And that's not appropriate in today's environment.
Family violence?
Absolutely, huge issue, and increasingly so. New Zealand, the police are attending a family violence incident every 5 minutes, and for a small country that's a horrendous statistic. And so, we have a lot of work to do, even in New Zealand, let alone what we want to say on the international stage. And of course, a lot of taking the voice to the UN is so that you've got that collective international government. The heads of government are there, they're hearing the voice of women, talking about the issues that affect us and what we need to have changed.
So, without getting too complicated, what are you expecting to happen? Because men aren't going to, in some countries, aren't going to listen to you.
No, it's not. It's about lobbying and continuing to take the voice and continuing to spread the message and educate people about the need and the value and what can be achieved by empowering women, and not just for women but for society as a whole. If you can't achieve a lot if you've got half your population unable to succeed. So if you improve women's empowerment, you're actually getting the full force of your whole population. Therefore, it improves the whole country. And there's a lot of research saying that when women are empowered, it actually improves the economic performance of the nation.
So in my mind, Kerry, I'm thinking Africa, I'm thinking Middle East, and those sorts of countries where you've got an uphill battle.
Absolutely, and there's certainly cultural traditions that need to be addressed as well. Legislation, of course, is only part of the solution. It doesn't change behaviour. You need to work on education and sharing the message and the stories and I guess giving evidence and proof of why you need to change. And that way you can encourage people to make small steps. And it is going to be small steps at a time.
Which is a good idea to have that mentality.
Yeah, it's a long journey. It's not going to happen overnight, but if we have all these women around the world taking their voice and constantly spreading that message, then eventually, little steps you do get there, but be prepared for the long haul.
I guess in a funny sort of a way, those marches that were after Donald Trump's inauguration is a step in your direction.
Oh, absolutely, because I think Globally, the marches in other countries they were talking about, general women's rights and human rights. So it became a much broader situation than just the protest in America. It actually took on a global.
We even marched in the Antarctic.
I know. So, and here in New Zealand, you think, well, why should we be interested in American politics? But of course, you think, that's a world power. They have a lot of influence in the world. And so you need to keep giving that message. And I think just so many women around the world was another step in saying, hey, look, women have rights, we have needs, and we need those things addressed.
Kerry, all the very best for your enterprise. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.